Hey, hi, I'm Ashwin. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and also welcome to the Interview Mantra playlist. Today we have a special guest with us. She is Riya Trivedi. She is currently working as a programmer analyst at Cognizant Technology Services, which is CTS that you all know. And today she's going to share her interview experience with Cognizant and also her career so far with Cognizant. So I hope it definitely help people who are willing to get into Cognizant and also for any service based company. So first of all, thanks Ria. Thanks for accepting my invitation to be a part of this. How are you doing?
Hi, Ashwin. So
Yeah.
I'm feeling actually really great that I'm getting to share everything about my experience and how I got and how I cracked the interview with all of you guys. I really hope it helps the people who are watching this.
Definitely, definitely. So I just gave a small intro about you, right? Like you're working in Cognizant. So can you brief it? Like what is your role and all those things?
So I work as a programmer analyst. I
Okay.
actually got promoted to being a programmer analyst last like before 2 months.
Okay.
I when you join Cognizant, you join as a programmer analyst training for
Okay.
one year. They train you for 1 year, and then based on your performance, that is when they'll promote you to the analyst position
Okay.
and they remove the training part.
Mm.
So a part of my profile basically is to give a error-free code. Like it's
Okay.
not a core developing job.
Mm.
It is basically a helping hand to the core developers. So
Okay.
if there is a code given, and there are parts of code given, then I am the one who will find out the defects in that, or if we can do it in a more efficient way and
Yeah.
reduce the lines of codes, make the memory more free. So basic. If you want to sum it up, that's my job to give an error-free code.
Okay. That's good to hear. Can you briefly share about your education background?
So I completed my 12th from Telangana board and then
Okay.
joined Gokaraju Rangaraju College, which is
Okay.
in Hyderabad. I
Okay.
completed my BTech in computer science from that. And then immediately after my graduation, I joined CTS.
Okay.
So there was a lot of interviews actually I went through, not only CTS and all. But the thing is, many companies delay the joining dates.
Okay.
So honestly, CTS was the first one to give the joining date and I joined it.
Okay. Okay.
And CTS had a better profile and a better pay than the other two or three companies I got placed into.
Okay.
So I chose CTS over all of them.
Like, how did you got into CTS? I mean, through campus
So
placement? Yeah.
no, CTS didn't come to our campus,
Okay.
but there was an offline, and we got the information through our college head only
Hmm.
that there's an
Okay.
offline placement drive happening at other colleges. If anyone's interested, they can join.
Okay.
So we went and we applied through it, and there was a test, which first test, which was home written, like you can write it at home.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that test was about three parts. It is like general quant and aptitude, logical thinking, and English.
Okay.
And it was about 3 or 3.5 hours. And that also included one coding section. So that coding section was about 20 minutes. And
Okay.
you have like 7 questions in that. And those 7 questions are all different types. Like
Okay.
two questions in that were just you have to find if there was any syntactical error in the
Hmm.
code or
Okay.
anything. The other two, but they have if there was any logical error, like
Okay.
if you like an example, if I want to give you, I can give the perfect square example.
Yeah.
So somewhere they wrote instead of a square they wrote a cube. So
Hmm.
that's a logical error, right?
Fix the,
So
I mean, errors. Yeah.
yeah, you have to fix the logical error,
Okay.
and one or two were you have to complete the code.
Hmm.
There were
Fine.
some lines missing. So
Okay.
that section basically had more weightage than all the other sections
Yeah.
because that's the core of the job, right? So
Yes.
that section had more weightage. Yeah, that was pretty much the written test.
Yeah.
And after like 20 days, they'll give you the shortlist. So I
Okay.
got shortlisted in that.
Okay.
And then we were called for the next process. That was group discussion and personal interview.
Okay.
So there was a group discussion round, and out of 10 people, they selected like almost 7 or 8. They didn't
Okay.
really eliminate a lot of people in the GD round.
Yeah.
GD were very simple topics. Generally, at that point, I think they gave us a topic of, and they gave us two topics. One was about women empowerment. Is it really empowering women, or is it like giving women unnecessary strength?
Yeah.
And the other topic was about weather and climate changes due to global warming, which is a very
Mhm.
simple and actually very common topic almost in all GDs you get.
Yeah.
So that was there. Then I got selected for the personal interview round. So the personal interview round, they checked. my background, like
Mm.
if I've done what all project I had done. Asked me about both my major and minor projects in my engineering.
Okay.
Then if I've done any extra curriculars or any extra projects from my side or any, internships or something, they asked. It went on for about, I think, 20-25 minutes.
Okay.
The interview was pretty easy. Like he didn't get into the core of anything.
Mm.
He asked me 2 or 3 technical questions about HTML and one about Java. And then he gave me a paper which had some kind of code written. Like he wrote down the code,
Okay.
and he asked if there's anything wrong in that. So it was pretty much syntactical error only. He put a comma beside for and
Mm.
semicolon, and if it's correct or not. So
Okay.
yeah, that was it. And then I got selected for the HR round.
Mm.
So HR round, they asked me about my extracurriculars, which were basically I had done TEDx for 2 years, actually 2.5, 3 years in my college.
Okay.
So he got really very impressed with the whole TED thing. I think he was very interested in that personally. So he asked me, I think it went on for about 45 minutes because he wanted every detail of my TED, like who I had called as speakers and how did we organize it and how did we get the license and all.
That's great,
And then he
actually.
asked me general HR questions like, will you be able to relocate, or if they give you different shift timings which you don't like morning 6 o'clock or evening like 10 o'clock shift, will you be able to
Mm.
do it without hesitation? Because companies like CTS and all, they have like foreign clients, so we have to work in their timings.
Yeah.
So that all. Yeah. And then they asked me about if I had known the language, since I'm a North Indian and
Mm.
I'm staying in Hyderabad for over 10 years. They asked me if I knew the language.
Mm.
And they asked me how did I cope up with in the starting with the people when I didn't know the language, and did I make any friends, and am I good at communication with people from different backgrounds?
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty much the whole interview and
And that
selection
is
part. To say.
okay. That's great. So, like, what is the preparation strategy that you followed? I mean, in order to get into this company, I mean, whatever the company it is, like, if going for replacement, you must have a plan, right? I mean, I need to crack
Yeah,
a
yeah.
company and something like this. So, what is your preparation strategy?
I think speed is the most important thing.
Okay.
Speed and accuracy. You should be able to do the math problems pretty fast.
Okay.
The calculations are really important. Like sometimes you can approximate the calculations based on the options if they're not near. Sometimes if there are calculations like options are 5, 5.5, 5.7, 5.9, you have to do the very precise calculation pretty fast.
Mm.
So I think speed is key, and speed comes only with practice and practice.
Yes.
So for the quant section, anyone I'll suggest is just keep doing more and more problems, though they'll seem like, array, it's the same problem. But then it's okay. You put your pen on the paper and do it. Because until you put it on your pen on the paper, you won't know if it's easy or if it's difficult, or it may seem the same, but there might be some twist in that. You never know.
Yeah.
So for every problem you practice, don't do it in your mind. Just put your pen on the paper and solve it. And for English, read lots of newspapers. I mean, books or newspapers, anything which goes your way. But reading newspapers will help you read the paragraphs faster and understand them faster.
Yep.
And if there are questions related to, like, sometimes they mention it in the question, like it's in para 1 or para 2 or para 3. But sometimes they don't. So you have to read the paragraph all over again for each question to find which part that was. But if you like keep practicing, you will know that, if a question is related to which paragraph of the what do you call the reading comprehension.
Okay.
And there are actually, to learn English, there are a lot of ways you can do it. You can use flashcards. They're actually available online. If you type flashcards, you can just print them out, or online flashcard websites. So there are so many apps which we can use for preparing for English. Sometimes they have synonyms and antonyms, so that you can use with the flashcards. You can do. And coming to logical reasoning and analytical thinking, I think the same thing. You have to practice. Like there are circular arrangement, there are linear arrangements. So as fast you do them, that way, you can answer easy questions. Like if there's a circular arrangement question, you can just, once you arrange it, you can answer, I think, 7 to 8 questions in a line, because they're all related.
Yes.
In analytical, like in most of the companies, they give you one paragraph with one like linear arrangement. There are minimum 4 questions related to it.
Okay.
So if you answer them like precisely and quickly, and if you make the arrangement quickly, then it is easier. And about this arrangement, I think you should consider each possibility. That is very like that is most actually I've noticed in people that they don't consider each possibility. If there is question like a person is sitting beside a person, they won't check if it's left or right.
Mm.
Whichever comes to their instinct, they just do it, and then the whole cycle gets messed up.
Yep.
So I think that is that you have to consider each possibility while doing this logical arrangements. And practice, I think online there are so many websites and everything available just to practice quant questions and
Yep.
logical questions. Not there's no less resources anywhere
Yes.
for.
Like also like you
And
raise
one
a
more
day.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry to cut you, but
Yeah.
one more thing I want to tell the students is that whenever you're going to a particular company's interview, please go through the Glassdoor reviews and other reviews of the company, like how the previous people have had their experience with the company and how how they have faced the interview. So that might be a little help for actually everyone to go and review it. That how they might get the questions. So
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Like then what about programming part?
Programming part actually pretty much it's very basic. What you have learned if you're a computer science or IT student,
Yep.
in your second and third of engineering, whatever you have learned those Java questions and computer science, I mean C and C++ questions,
Yep.
palindrome is there, perfect squares are there, and then there is binomial, I think some expansion, there's some question like that. So those are all available on Google. Okay. So what I did was just typed, general programming questions, and then I got a list of 100 to 200 programs. So I just went through them once, so that at least I know what the idea is. And general basic programming question, I think every computer science student should know the like palindrome, perfect square,
Prime numbers,
and
factorials, and all those things.
yeah, prime number, factorial, Fibonacci series. So pretty much they're gonna ask you like in your interview also they might just ask you just write the basic code for Fibonacci series.
Yep.
So they might ask you that. So these you should be always thoroughly prepared for. These are very, very like common questions. Or just you Google them common interview programming question. You'll get a list of 100, 200, how many ever you want questions. And there are websites which help you prepare. I mean, practice them on online also.
Yes.
The online compilers, everything is available. Like if you don't have the system to install all the apps and install all the compilers, you can always use online compilers for practice.
And yeah, they were instant. Yeah.
Even all these like questions which make you find a syntactical error and logical error also present. It's just that you have to go through a lot of websites to find them.
Yep.
There are actually books also available. I'm not really sure of the names because I did everything online.
Yeah.
But then there are books which you can, I think, if you ask your faculty or something, they might refer you the books also which have like top 200, top 300 programming questions and things like that.
Yep. Also, like you raised a valid point. Like speed is the core concept here, because while solving quantitative aptitude and all those things, people might feel that we can solve this, but they take more time.
Yeah.
But if there is a practice which adds to their thinking ability, then it will really solve the fast solving skills, and it really
you
helps.
might not you don't know, you might find another way to do the same question. If you like practice more and more question, you might find a easier way to do the same question, like if you put your pen on the paper.
Yeah, like it's solving is not important here, like the way the speed that you use to solve is important.
Yeah, the speed is always the speed is in the interviews and all. Actually, speed is important.
Yeah.
Like if they give you 20 questions, at least you should be able to attempt 18 questions. Attempting 18 is more important than what do you call attempting only 5 or 6 which are correct. And you take like a lot of time to do it.
Yep, that's true.
Some companies actually don't have the negative marking. So I always tell people, if there is no negative marking, attempt everything. Like some people get stuck on one question, no, we will solve it, but then they forget to go to the other section and at least attempt them.
Yep.
So please attempt everything so that negative marking, you never know your luck.
Yeah, and there
is no negative marking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lose the marks.
Yep.
That is the thing.
And like,
But you know,
yeah,
online on internet, actually there are a lot of resources available. You don't have to go anything. You don't really have to put a lot of effort. You just have to practice.
yes, and I'm also coming to the same point actually. So like, what are the resources that you regularly follow? I mean, to make yourself
There
updated.
is
Yeah.
no, there is only Google, and the first website that comes is Shiksha, actually Shiksha.
Yeah.
And our college had something called CoCubes.
Oh, yeah.
So CoCubes, they made us practice a lot. They had conducted classes. But even if your college doesn't provide CoCubes, you can take your own CoCube subscription. It is available freely. And there is there's something called AIMCAT, or what is
AMCAT.
it called? I don't.
AMCAT.
Yeah, AMCAT. Yeah. Yeah. Even AMCAT was not provided by our college. But then one of my seniors had a subscription to it, so I used it from his account for practice of many questions. So there are a lot of resources. It's not like there is no resources. You just need to know what to find.
Yep.
There's something called IndiaBix. Yeah.
IndiaBix. Yeah.
IndiaBix is very, very good for all, at least your programming question or HTML question. Like they have topic-wise specific questions.
Yeah, even it has
so you can go through that.
Covered. Yeah.
It has something in programming also covered.
Yeah.
So that will at least strengthen your basics. They don't really have a lot of high-level questions, but they have questions which will strengthen your base pretty much very good.
True. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
A lot of books.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. A lot of everything is just, even the PDFs of books are also available on. Like if you don't have the time to go and buy a book or something, you can always download a PDF of books which contain quant questions at home. There is I really can't remember the name right now. But just literally just Google one thing like quant practice question or interview questions based on logical reasoning. You'll get hundreds of 2000s of so many questions you can practice from. You just pick up one website and just practice from it.
Yeah, I think Google search is a primary skill here that people need to know first.
Yeah. Google search is primary skill. See, for practice, you don't need specific anything. You just need a question and you need pen and paper. Yes. True. That's the basic thing.
Like how important is like extracurricular activities important? Like as you said, you worked as an executive producer for TEDx, right? So how important it is to shape your career or to shape one's career?
See, extracurricular will provide you the way to talk to people. It will make you understand how you can be a team player. When you go to the IT industry, you work in a team of 40 people, 50 people, sometimes even less, sometimes even like 100, 200 people. So that is when you will know that you have to, take everyone's ideas into consideration. That your idea is not the only one. There is others' ideas which will matter, and then coming together and combine the ideas. There are some 50 people in the room, and if you don't know how to talk or communicate or give your idea, it won't work. What if your idea is one among the best? What if it's some breakthrough to something? If you're not able to communicate that idea clearly, I don't think it is of any use.
Yes.
And then people will suppress you if you don't talk, and if you don't put your point, if you don't stand up for yourself. So I think extracurriculars or participating on these events, it shapes your character basically. Not only, organizing events, it can be anything. It can be sports, it can be, dancing or something, anything. But it will make you stand differently as an individual actually. It will shape your career that, you'll come out of books. There's something else you can do except studying also.
Yeah.
And many companies, HRs, when there is a HR round, they actually, they love to talk about your extracurriculars. And they do it so that they can check your communication skills.
Yeah.
If they ask you what are your hobbies or what do you like to do in free time, and if you actually elaborately tell what you like to do, they'll be very impressed. And you can tell all this elaborately only when you're actually doing it. You cannot just make up something and talk about it freely. So as long as you're actually doing something and telling it very freely and openly to the HR, they will like it.
Yep.
So there was this company, Mu Sigma.
Yeah.
So they had a psychometric test also.
Okay.
So the psychometric test was about they'll give you 4 or 5 situations and how are you going to behave in that situation and all. So that is an experience that you have to live through the experience. If you're not a part of anything, if you haven't done anything as a team or a group, you won't know how to react in that situation.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example of a question. So they told me that you are a part of a team, and one member who is a very good player, you are part of a basketball team.
Okay.
And one member who is a very good player has a leg injury. And you have only one more other person, but he's not a good player.
Hmm.
And you have an option of playing with only 4 players. So will you choose that player who's not good, or will you just play with the 4 people? So that is how they test you.
Okay.
And to that, I gave the answer that I will take the 5th player, because obviously more people in a basketball is, even though he's not playing good, I will, take him in the team, so that, we will surround him. We will take care of the guy who's not playing it well. But I can't play with a 4-member team.
Yep.
So that is how some companies have these different types of tests. But extracurriculars and other hobbies and all are really important. Like it will shape your character, and it will make you more creative actually.
Mm.
Because if you're sitting in a room with another 10 people, you will get to know their ideas also. You'll be like, oh, okay, we can do this problem this way also. We can give a solution to this problem in another way.
Yep.
Your thinking will split into many ways. You will think, you generally now people think in only one path, but if you're sitting with 10 people, they will think in another paths, and you can make up more ideas and mix those ideas and think in other ways.
That's good. So we can actually plan our interviews. Like if you are good in at least one extracurricular activity apart from our education.
Yeah.
So instead of making interview or asking questions, like we can plan our interview, like how we should go.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
It just takes one question from the interviewer for us to open up. And once you are good at communication,
Yep.
they will get impressed. All the interviewers look for is your communication. If you're able to communicate with 100 other people, because from college, you're directly going to IT industry.
Yeah.
And it is very important for you to communicate with the client. If you should be able to put forward your demands, you should be able to put forward, take their demands into consideration. If you are able to complete the goal in time or not, all this is required by the base of communication, nothing else. It all starts with communication.
Yep. Like
If
as
you're a
we
silent
yeah.
person, if you're a silent person and if you're not able to put your point, like the client will tell you, do this, do this, do this. He'll give you 10 points. Yeah, this is your deadline. You should be able to tell him that, sir, it is not possible to complete all these 10 deadlines. Give us more time or reduce the number of points. That all will come only when you're confident enough to, speak in front of the client.
Yep. So as we are talking about communication, like I will ask you a simple question. So what is important according to you, effective communication or English communication?
Effective communication.
Yep. That's
Communication can mean anything.
Yeah.
So in my college, there were people who were from, Telugu medium background also. So, and they've learned English only after coming to engineering.
Yep.
So they had it written on in their CV. So when they went to the interviewers are very comfortable even if you're talking in some regional language, because they know that people come from different backgrounds. So many of them are given their interviews in Telugu also. It's not what do you call. It is important that they're able to communicate and put forward their ideas. Let it be in any language.
Yeah.
And they should just put forward their point.
And if they are able to communicate in any language, then it is not difficult thing to learn English. But many people are being struck just because they don't know English. They are not being open up. That is a bad thing, right?
It's, you can join your job and parallelly learn also English. It's not at all a big deal. There are coaching centers, there are online classes. It doesn't take a lot of, you just shouldn't be scared of admitting it. You should openly admit it that to the interviewer that, sir, I'm not comfortable in English. I'm from a Telugu medium background. It's just been 4 years that I've started learning English. I will need more time. So can we do this interview in Telugu or Hindi or whatever, whichever language? And interviewers and HRs don't have a problem with that. It is not mandatory for them to talk in English. I just want you to know if you're a good person with your skills. And you're able to, tell and put forward a point. In that.
The confidence matters here.
Exactly, the confidence matters here. If you're looking for a development role, they will look at your skills. How efficiently you're able to code. If they're given you a problem, are you able to find a solution to that or not? Obviously, you will not code in Telugu or any other language. You'll code in the coding language, right? So that is what matters to them. It and how you are able to confidently admitting that, no, I'm not comfortable with English. I will need time. they will actually feel very happy that you're at least admitting it in front of everyone that you need time to learn the language.
Yeah. So like you have been working with Cognizant for nearly 2 years, right? Maybe 18 to 20
Yeah,
months.
almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, what do you think the main difference between a service-based company and a product-based company? So even though like if you're not working for a product-based company, like you might have the knowledge, right? I mean, with your experience, can you expand that?
I think product-based companies mainly focus on, development part of it.
Okay.
They want pure coders and, pure, back-end people in that. Whereas come to companies, there's a lot of variety. You have people who are communicating with the client, you have people who are communicating in the front end. There are
Yep.
people who are also, obviously we also have the back-end developers, but
Yeah.
it is not the core of our institute.
Yeah.
We have front end people also, and direct clients who people will directly communicate with clients and put forward their demands to us.
Yep.
So that is, I think, the basic difference between product and service based companies. Like I have friends who work in product based companies,
Yep.
and they have like pure core development job, and actually difference comes in the working of client.
Mm.
So our clients have so I work for Apple actually as a client.
Okay.
So our clients are demanding very less of us actually right now, because
Okay.
they know that we are all working efficiently from this project has been going on for around 4 years. So I joined it in recently.
Okay.
So they know that from 4 years this team has been working efficiently. So they don't really put pressure on us. But product companies, they have certain deadlines
Mm. Yep.
that they have to meet at the very earliest. Like if there is a product they have to develop, there's a project or a website or whatever they have to develop, and they have a specific date, like on this date it should be released. So I
Yes.
think the pressure of meeting deadlines in product companies is more than in the service-based company. Service is basically maintaining of the product which they have developed.
Mm. And product
Like
we
suppose
develop.
like
Yep.
one company that develops a website, I think service-based company we just maintain it. We just do
Mm.
the corrections in it and
Yep.
like make sure it's working properly for the time.
Yep. That's good actually. So, and like for people like who are willing to join Cognizant or any service-based company, like one thing they may think of is like work-life balance. So, can you explain like what will be the work-life balance in Cognizant?
The working culture actually is very good in Cognizant. You are flexible now because of pandemic. They've started
Yeah.
the flexible hours plan.
Okay.
So I work from morning 6 to 3 a.m. because of my client, because we have foreign-based clients.
Okay.
But there has never been a pressure of log in and like you have to log in at 6 o'clock and log out at 3 o'clock. No, if I log in 2 hours late, I'll just have to like extend the times 2 hours early,
Okay.
2 hours late. Like suppose if I log in at 8 or 8:30, I'll just have to work till 5 or 5:30. But
Okay.
never has any one of my manager or someone questioned me that why have you logged in 2 hours late or something.
Mm.
So that is very good with Cognizant. They don't, and they have very flexible working hours.
Okay.
They don't. There is something called like you can even log in early. I'm just talking about late.
Mm. Mm.
If you have some plan after 2 o'clock, so you can just wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and log in and just you need to finish your work. That is all they care about.
Okay.
Like you do your work efficiently. Even if you do work in 5 hours, you can just take the day off. No one's gonna
Mm.
ask you because you've completed your work. So that's the work culture of Congress, and everyone's very friendly. Like I've joined my team in this pandemic where we only work from home, and
Mm.
I've never met them actually till now.
Okay. Okay.
So, but it never felt like I have not met them. They're very, very friendly people, and they will explain you every bit and part of it, like how it works. And Cognizant is a lot of learning portals, lot of it, like internal learning portals. So you can learn like any skill from that. Take it
Okay.
HTML, take it Java. You have many courses which you can register for free, and you can take those classes. The videos are amazing. The explanation, there are practice sessions in the videos. There are quizzes. So it just makes your strength very, base very strong in all the concepts which you are going to use
Yep.
in your project.
Yep. Like you are making some clear points here. Like for people like who are willing to join or willing to choose Cognizant, like they may feel happy after listening to you. So like you were telling like you are a bit happy with your work. That's great actually.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen my friends who work for many other companies that, 9 o'clock means they have to be online at 9 o'clock, and they can log out only after 6 o'clock. So I don't have that pressure. As long as I'm done with my work, I can log out early. And if I have not done my work, I will obviously stay till late, but I will complete my work. That is what is more important. You complete your work, you can, what do you call it? Manage your time accordingly.
That's great.
And the leaves and all also, there are a lot of, there's no, what do you call it? They carry forward. There's no like, okay, this leave is only till this year or something. You can carry forward a lot of leaves. So that is a good thing. Many companies don't allow the carry forwarding of leaves. So many leaves of the people lapse, which like people don't take them.
Yes.
So here it carry forwards for like 2 or 3 years. So that shouldn't, like, that's not a problem with Cognizant that way. And it is very flexible for girls actually. Like, if you got a project in another location, after working in that location for 2 months, you can request for a transfer.
Okay.
So they will transfer the girls from another location at a priority basis, because they give the importance to women in that way.
That's great.
So that is good thing about Cognizant.
Yeah. Okay, like before wrapping up, like, can you suggest two important points for people like who are willing to crack any kind of placement? So if people are in third year or final year, whatever the year is, so what are the 2 things that they keep in mind? I mean, in order to go for placement.
So for third year students, first thing you keep in mind is what kind of a company you want to join. Do you want to join a product-based company or service-based company? Prepare accordingly.
Okay.
If you want to join a product-based company, do your main focus on the coding and the development part, because whenever they come for interviews, some of the companies, they don't even have the product-based companies don't even have the quant section or the logical section. They directly have the coding section.
Yes.
So in third year students, please make your mind clear about which type of company you want to join. If you're very good at coding, aim for product-based companies. If you're, medium level or low level coder, then you can try for both of them. It's not a issue. But then when we are a medium or a low level student, you give equal balance to both coding and your quant and logical section. And second is practice a lot. How much ever practice you do is less. And there are like how you are doing videos, there are a lot of videos. So, there are actual, representation of how it goes. So see more and more videos, go through Google, go through Glassdoor reviews. So you will know what kind of questions to expect.
Yes.
And same thing, the products and service thing comes here also. Product-based companies directly in interview ask you about C, C++, Java. They don't ask you any other questions about your hobbies or anything else. Service-based companies, they give overall importance to everything. They might ask you about your extracurriculars. They might ask you about your hobbies. So it's a mix of both. So just make your mind clear which kind of company you want to join and practice. These are the 2 things I would say.
Yep. Like you gave us some valuable points to note down, and I hope like this interview session, this video session will be important. I mean, will be helpful for at least 70 to 80% of the people who are watching this. And yeah, again, I'm telling you, like, thank you so much for accepting my invitation and sharing your valuable experiences. And I really hope it will help many people. So yeah,
I really hope so too.
Yeah. Okay, then we will wind up this. So again,
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Also, I would like to tell, if anyone has anything regarding Cognizant, they can reach out to me on my LinkedIn. I'm really happy to help anyone who's like willing to join Cognizant or already joined and need help with anything.
I will also mention her LinkedIn ID in the description, so you can check it out. And so thank you for watching this video, and I hope you liked this very much. There are many other sessions, many other interviews that are coming in the way. So please make sure you subscribe to this channel, and please share this with your network so that many others can benefit you. Thanks again. Thank you for watching.